I'm Ryan from Monster Logo Studios. This is the arcade model of the DAFM Synth by Kasser Synths. The DAFM synthesizers are multitimbral FM synths built around a series of Yamaha chips from classic arcades, consoles, and PC sound cards. The model arcade you see here specifically uses the YM2151 Yamaha chip that was used in almost all arcade consoles from the 80s and 90s. These synthesizers come in both pre-assembled or DIY kits. The form factor is a bit different for the DIY kits to allow easier assembly, but the feature set is exactly the same between the two. The arcade model has 8 independent polyphonic channels, each with 4 operators that can be configured in one of 8 different algorithms. There is a full 5-pin MIDI input jack, a 3.5mm audio output, and power is provided through a 5-volt USB Type-B connection. There is a surprisingly playable 12-note capacitive keyboard on the front, and 2 rotary encoders for navigating the 6 software menus. There are 4 independent blue OLED displays that provide visual feedback through a series of 6 well-designed menus. The first screen allows selection of the FM algorithm. You're not going to find the flexibility of a DX7 in this little box, but you can tease an impressive number of sounds out of it. There's also a feedback control, but it only affects the first operator. There's also no option to specify the wave type, sine waves only, though you can enable per operator velocity sensitivity. Menu 2 allows control of the frequency ratio, along with fine and coarse detune options. The third menu provides per operator sculpting of ADSR envelopes. There's also a rate scaling integer for control of the overall envelope speed. Menus 4 and 5 are for control of the LFOs. There are 2 dedicated low-frequency oscillators, one for amplitude and one for phase modulation or pitch. The fourth screen allows setting global frequency and pitch or sensitivity of the phase modulation for a vibrato effect, but values are set globally for all 4 operators at once. The amplitude modulation sensitivity is also global, but it can be enabled or disabled for each operator independently for a tremolo-like effect. Screen 5 allows you to set the depth of both the phase and amplitude modulation independently. This is also where you can select the waveform shapes for the LFOs, but unfortunately you can't set them independently. They're locked to combinations of saw, square, triangle, or noise. The last screen is maybe the least intuitive, screen 6. This allows access to presets on device and on a standard SD card. It allows loading any one of the available presets into one of the 8 audio channels. There are 80 presets stored on board in what's called Bank 0 from classic games like Street Fighter II, Double Dragon, and Golden Axe. You can also store up to 128 presets on the memory card, which acts as Bank 1 for MIDI program changes. This unfortunately requires a PC to manage and an external MIDI controller to recall. You have to first save the 8 actively loaded channels onto the SD card, then rename the files from the default patch type to the instrument preset type, and then you can only load those presets into one of the 8 channels through MIDI. This is definitely the primary area where the firmware could use a little more finesse, but overall there's an impressive amount of control available, and fortunately all of these controls are accessible via MIDI CC. Conveniently, the provided manual has a very detailed implementation chart showing all CC messages and control ranges for every feature on each menu. There are also Genesis and Sound Blaster versions of this synth, but the $260 arcade model is the only one with 8 independent channels, which makes it a great companion for something like the Electron Digitact. In fact, I'd argue this is a better companion than even the Digitone, considering the price and flexibility. Here are a couple of demo tracks in that exact configuration, controlling the DAFM synth from the Digitact, including instrument preset recall from the SD card. So that's the DAFM Arcade Synth. I'm having a lot of fun with this thing, and if you're interested in picking one up, I'll leave a link in the description. Again, I have no affiliation with Kasser Synths, and there aren't any affiliate links here. I just enjoy making music and sharing the experience with you all. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. I'm Ryan from Monster Logo Studios. Talk to you soon.